Hi, welcome back to Ask the Oracle channel. My name is Davina and I have a reading for the collective if you're drawn to the heading. Feeling it has to do with somebody who's super badass, because so far we have the Queen of Swords in blue robes and she's the warrior queen. I have inspiration to tell you about these amazing, strong women in history, and I downloaded the other day the reason that men, how do I want to say this? The reason that there were men who made women to be subservient at some point created some kind of religious dogma and went on witch hunts to kill the strong, powerful women was because they were so strong and powerful, they beat armies. And the men, those cowardly Romans and the Inquisition, where they went out and killed and pretended like they were doing it in the name of God, but really and truly it was for power and control. So I have two queens here. I have a Queen of Swords in blue robes who is, what's the word do I want to say? She is, well, look at her. Let's just look at her. What are you picking up? She's strong. She don't take no shit. And I have too many queens right now. Okay, I'm looking at the Queen of Swords, the Queen of Pentacles, and holy Moses, how did we get three queens? That's ridiculous. What does this mean? Is there three feminine energies, a mother, daughter, sister? One's a fire sign, one's earth, and one is swords? Or is it just that there's a personality with predominantly thinking, analytics, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, air sign, or Taurus, Swan, Moon, wine, winery, finer things in life, and a very magnetic, it's Hawaiian lady. The cat, the black cat, sometimes she represents Leo. Anyway, I'm going to ask more about what that's about, but there's some sort of deception that took place. We have someone who's very smart, learning things. That might be you, you might be a student, or you might have just recently got inspired by some badass women, which I'm going to tell you about here in a minute. In Shakespeare's garden, somebody's stingy. She got a cake on her head and she's hoarding all the chocolate. Shame on them. Now, it didn't have to be a she, it's just that's on the card. So it's an energy for Pentacles of hoarding and not sharing the wealth and keeping it all to yourself. So some of you might be dealing with some kind of energy like that that's not paying up what you're worth. Maybe an employer, a divorce decree, something like that. Child support, I don't know, could be. All right, so let's look at this card first. This is the warrior queen here. This is the dominant energy that represents the person watching this video or the other person involved in your situation. So take it how it applies, and if it doesn't, don't take it. The Queen of Swords, she doth not play. She's got the blade of truth, the tongue of the day, and the stare that says, try me, mortal, I dare you. I dare you. Look at that face. That's what she's saying. Let it be known, she rides not alone. Oh, hey, buddy, what you doing? Look, you want to see this kitty? Oh, isn't he pretty? He's so pretty. He purrs and he's so lovey-dovey. He just is so sweet. Okay, back to the queens. The sands of ancient Kush comes Queen Amenorina, who said, Rome who? And marched on Caesar with one eye and zero fear. Enter Artemis, goddess of wild things, who said, touch my sisters and meet thy end by the arrow. Protector, huntress, divine, she-wolf of the moon. Light. And through the veil of night comes Harriet Tubman, swordless in hand, but fierce in her might. She led thousands to freedom, not once, not twice, over 13 times. She moved like midnight mist, silent, sharp, and unstoppable like a ninja. And behold, my one woman that inspires me the most out of everyone we mentioned, Sojourner Truth, who looked this world dead in the eyes and said, "Ain't I a woman?" She was a queen of conviction, breaker of illusions, speaker of unshakable truths. These are the sisters of the sword. Queens, goddesses, and warriors. Oh, now I understand why there's 3. Oh my God. Okay, and if thou findest thyself people-pleasing or biting thy tongue, think again. Don't be a fool. Fool me once, there will be no fool me twice. Speak the truth, set boundaries. Swing the blade firmly. Be crystal clear on what you need and what you want, and ask for what you need and what you want. Use your voice with truth, conviction, and clarity. Do not let anything you say be misinterpreted, because you're going to spell it out. Dot your I's and your T's. Sojourner of Truth, she burned down lies with her words. She represents the archetype, these archetypes, all 3 of these women, badass women. Speak truth, lead, and rise. Let rise. All right, so let's get to the reading now. So that was some entertaining. I hope you made it past that part. Yeah, so we have Earth, Fire, and Sword. And I think the Sword is going to kick all the masses. But what if it's the same person? So take it how it applies. This could be the same person except for different traits. But I'm feeling that in this situation, you're gonna need the most dominant trait is gonna be this one. So let's read the poem in the book. So I wrote this book to go along with my Around the World Tarot, and it's all about places around the world, and I share stories, history, and poetry for those of you who like that kind of thing. Let's just go with the Queen of Swords today, because she's the one that came out first. And I think that she has something to say. I have to use my glasses. Okay. Are you ready? Let's hear what she has to tell us. Beneath the skies of sapphire hue, the Nubian queen stands proud and true, in robes of blue that catch the breeze. She holds her sword with regal ease. Before her looms the ancient temple of Abu Simbel, bathed in light. The statues are carved from desert stone, whispering tales of kings and queens from long ago. Her eyes, like stars, shine bright and clear. No trace of doubt, scorn, or hint of fear. Instead, she holds a formidable gaze. Her wisdom cuts her judgments swift. Through time and space she tends the rift. With every breath the Nile sings of queens and secrets of truth and kings. In Egypt's heart her power flows, the Queen of Swords in blue robes. Justice rides within her soul, a mind like steel, a gifted role. A Nubian queen, fierce and wise, she guards her throne beneath the skies. So, as you would know, if you're familiar with the Queen of Swords, what this advice would be here on this is speak and live your truth and stand firmly in your authenticity. Use your voice to assert your wisdom and guide others. especially when clarity is needed in complex situations. Learn from the past and reflect on history, personal or collective, to find lessons and inspiration. Approach challenges with a calm and analytical mindset for the best solutions. So this is what the Queen of Robes does. She uses her smarts, her wits, to analyze the challenges in a calm and analytical manner, and then she makes the wise choice. She looks out for herself. She's not going to let you cheat her. Don't even think about doing it. You might did it once, you ain't doing it again. Let me tell you, because she can see you and she is sharp. And you don't want to be at the end of that sword. It might hurt. And if it's somebody who's messing with the Queen of Swords, that person's going to regret that they underestimated her. Yeah. So, the Queen of Swords. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell you the history. So I had no idea about the Nubian queens, because it's funny how ancient Egyptian history doesn't talk much at all about the Nubians who overtook the throne of Egypt for a while. They were pharaohs. They were the black pharaohs. And did you ever know they existed? Well, some of you will. Some of you are interested in history, and you also have like cultural ties to the Nubian queens and kings. So you might know. But for someone like me who, has watched Ancient Aliens and, History Channel, I have never once, before I looked this up, knew about these wonderful, crazy, badass women warriors that beat Rome, not just once, but twice. So as I mentioned in the beginning, that's why they did what they did to women, because women are so strong and powerful. They're way more... They use their intuition, so they are better warriors than men. They don't have the brute that a man does and the muscle mass, but when you have intuition, divine intuition, and you're a woman and you can hear and you can, you have all of that, and you're actually working it and using it, and then you combine that with strategy. The Queen of Swords is analytical, and the women's intensity in combat to use their higher skills in warfare. They were outsmarting and outwitting their enemies. So what they did in history was they made women subservient and wanted them to erase the history about the women warriors. There were way more women warriors than just the Nubian queens. It was all over the place. There were the Artemisians, there were the Amazonian women who were like badass. Those women existed. And so my belief is that is why they want to control women, and they created stories to make them subservient. And some people live by those stories and never question, is this true? Or they try to erase our history, the women's powerful women. Need water. So what do you think about that? How does that apply to your situation? Where do you see yourself in this? Okay, so let's move on. Now I have the Page of Pentacles looking at the map. Now this one is also, it's funny because this one is also looking at history as a lesson to your current situation. Whatever decision you need to make, you need to look at the past. So if you're dealing with an individual from your past, you need to see how they handled you in the past. Was it honest? Or did they conceal things and pretend like they were doing you a favor when indeed they knew they weren't? They were looking out for themselves, and you thought because they pretended to be your friend for whatever reason. It could be for some of you. If it doesn't apply, donate. Some of you might need some professional assistance. Reach out to someone who can give you more advice, because I'm definitely not that one. So what else, Great Spirit, is the challenge for this? And I'm going to find out too. Let's find out what else your challenge is, and then let's ask about the three queens. Do they represent one person, or are they people in your life? Of course, you might know this already, but for those of you who are kind of wondering, what does that stand for? Let's see here. What is your challenge, your biggest challenge with the situation here? What's the challenge? What's the challenge? Okay, so I got community and imprisonment. So some of you might feel like you don't fit into your community. Now very few might know somebody that's actually behind some sort of cage, bars, locked up, imprisoned, or not able to do anything or move or do what they want, because we got this card here with community. So someone's challenge is perhaps breaking into their community, getting involved with their community for some of you, not everyone. And then maybe occupation is a challenge too for a few of you. Now, as far as the 3 queens, I kind of want to know, let's look at this for a second. Okay, so I'm going to pull some more cards from my deck here. And let's see, what do we need to know? What do these 3 queens represent, Great Spirit? What do they represent? With Judgment Day, so this also can represent in some ways, because we got the Queen of Swords, some justice. You got, Christ the Redeemer coming out of the sky. This leads to, this leads to 10 of Cups, wishes fulfilled for a moment in time. Well, 9 of Cups is wishes fulfilled. But 10 of Cups, this is a pretty good one too. Emotionally speaking, this is a very beautiful place here where these 2 are enjoying a rainbow after the storm. The 10 of Cups. Somebody might be in a partnership or in travel and be in a beautiful place next to the water and the fjords. And then I see you, or whoever it needs to be in this energy, succeeding. This is the King of Wands. He is my King Arthur archetype. And one day I'll read to you more from him and his story and what goes on with that. Overall, though, what I see is some celebration. Hey, this is another Egyptian card. So some of you might have a really strong tie to Egypt, ancient Egypt. So my cards were supposed to be 3 by 5, and the printers made them small. So I didn't intend these images to be this small. I actually was thinking, is this 3 by 5? I think this is 3 by 5. So my cards were supposed to be somewhat closer to that size. Yeah, and so you would be able to see more. So now, like if I really want to look at my cards that I designed, I have to get like a magnifying glass. Wait, so celebration, 4 of Wands. So you're going to be celebrating after whatever it is, you speak your truth and your voice and avoid isolation. Maybe you're breaking out of isolation, but it's been your challenge is to get the support that you need, I think. I think once that does change and shift, which it is, because look, if someone's been unfair, this is judgment. It's like redeem yourself now, because whether you do it now or later, you're gonna have to answer to what is just and what is right, whoever that applies to, whether they've been honest, if they lie. And do not back down. You see, this woman's not gonna back down. She is fierce, and she ain't gonna put up with no shit and lies and bullshit. Alright, because it's gonna be you. This gonna be you. Standing on the threshold of that doorway, that opening into beauty and art and scenery that's just breathtaking, and you'll have a picture in the process of that moment in time with rainbow. All right, guys, any questions, reach out. Also, we've got our cards in, and I gotta learn how to sell cards and as a self-published person. So check out the links below if you like what you see. They are beautiful cards. I'm not 100% sure you're gonna be able to see in this light though, but stand firm. Stand firm, because like I said, you gotta hold on to that sword. Your sword in the stone. The Queen of Blue Robes. All right, guys. Take care.